Yeah, today we are doing an episode of Doodle Empire series. Let's get into it. Episode 7. Our map, we tell you what's happened last episode. We saw a huge war in Africa. We saw Spain go over Tangier. What? We saw Tangier taken over by West Africa and Spain. We saw Spain establish a huge colonial empire. We have 3 colonies now. Republic of Somalia is going to begin a land invasion of Eritrea, quickly seizing it. It's then going to unify with. It's then going to unify with the Somalians. Egypt was able to take over the Somali government in a battle. And Ethiopia was going to be wiped out extremely quickly. Have a new nation. And this new nation, so Spain finances another colony. So for context, they already have colonies in California, they have a colony in like Colorado. They don't want a colony in Canada, because they already have one pretty much. So they will opt to establish one over here. Spain will establish their Andean colony. In the meantime, the Filipino Taiyun will get a new leader. Yemen's gonna start to expand. So Yemen will retake Djibouti. However, Egyptian forces are gonna quickly get independent and declare themselves their own thing. One of another nation. And this time, we have iced. No, wait. This time we have a nation formed from Japan, Indonesia, and India, forming a new country of Burma. These are quite big. The Brazilians are going to expand. Yemen's going to counterattack against Egypt. They take over the Somali capital. And then takes over all of this. Finally, Egypt's going to start to counterattack. Over here, a huge split. And this split happens down here. Basically, anti-Egyptian forces going to rise in Somalia. Indians are working with Yemen. In the meantime, Ethiopia is going to quickly begin to attack Egypt. And then we have Libya is going to declare war on Egypt. secure it. They're going to start moving down. Anatolia will then declare war on Egypt, funding the ideology. And this will become known as Turkey. The Anatolian forces are going to take over the Sinai. And going to expand into Iraq. In the meantime, Persia, now we never is a mess at this point. Meanwhile, over here, rebels will try to found a new thing. As they're going to attempt to take over parts of the Spanish colony. Let's see how this goes for them. These guys will get all the way to Alaska. So Spain does not yet know about what's happening. We have Indonesian forces reaching up here. And now they found a colony in Australia. And they're going to start attacking Papua New Guinea's colony. These are at war now. Ukraine is going to start to expand. Get a huge new Ukraine being established. In the meantime, Spain is going to found ideology. That's our Mozambique. They're going to start to expand. First time in a while. They're going to declare war on Egypt, take over parts of their lands. Cuban rebels own Bermuda. The huge colony in Finland gets a new leader. And Spain will finish off Cuba and finish off Central America. And then get to send forces to counterattack Mexico. They want to get rid of these guys. They then have their colonial forces they're supplying to start to take over the Colombian rebels. So they get a counterattack. They get a defensive line up to here, and they're going to start to colonize Alaska. And Spanish authority combined with these guys are going to start to respond. Quickly reestablishing the colony. And Colombia is going to become Alaska. Air forces are going to flee from this area. Spain does not know about Alaska's existence. We have a new nation. Spain will then proceed to set up a colony more inland, forming. Initially going to form an inland colony, then they're like, we can just make one up down here, so they went down south. These guys are going to take over much of this land. When Spain takes over all of Spain's colonies, we'll label them on the map. this one is going to expand. This one's going to establish a small settlement right over here. Their main goal is taking over Greenland, and they're doing a very good job of that. The Spanish Empire is going to expand and continue to put pressure on Mexico. And eventually, Mexico becomes a Spanish colony. What becomes known as the Treaty of Baja, they are forced to give up their independence to make a colony of Spain. And Spain started to expand their colony for all of Mexico. And this is a huge colony. As for Italy, they have another nation. And this time, we have it for the Americas. This time, Spain sends troops to establish an inland colony. Establish Spanish Paraguay. This is their colony. Spain is colonizing an insane amount of land, and it's going to start to expand. We have Canada marching again. They're going to go up north. The Australians are going to proceed to kick Papua New Guinea out. They're going to start fighting Chagos to kick them out of their continent. The Libyans are finally going to expand, and Libya is going to expand further. You have Egypt, and Egypt is finally going to be able to counterattack. They will re-establish their capital. They're going to push Libya back, and they're going to push Yemen back. Meantime, anti-Egyptian troops are going to then proceed to unify with Ethiopia, forming a united front. And we have another new nation. In north of Egypt, we have the anti-imperialist These guys will form over here. We're going to get all the way down to here, and Egypt's going to have to recognize these guys and becomes known as the Treaty of Egyptia. They are forced to give up Sinai, this land, this land, this land, this land, this land, and a ton of huge losses for them. In the meantime, the southern Arabs are going to attack Yemen while time is right. Spain is then going to proceed to expand further. We have Spanish positions starting to invade Brasilia. We have Brazilian forces establishing a castle right here. That's our front line. And then Spain's going to counterattack and successfully take this fort. They're now going to move on to this fort. Brazilian forces are going to proceed to desperately attempt to counter Spain. However, Spain is way stronger. Now a new nation. Spain is going to send out troops. And Spain is going to establish a colony in Africa. And what they do is they basically send over a warship to this area, like roughly over here, and they are going to form Spanish Africa. So these guys are going to quickly, these troops they hired, these guys are going to quickly start to take over land. Mozambique is going to be forced to agree to this, what becomes known as the Treaty of Spania, the Spanish Africa. So Spain now controls a region of Africa Libya then join. The tiny Egyptians join. We then have the Australians join this. And lastly, the nation of Zelia is going to join us. This is a huge pact. However, if Italy wins, Spain attacks them, then yeah, Brasilia is looking weak. And Spanish forces are going to establish a new ideology. It's become known as basically their main goal is to conquer all this. They will seek to build a castle at their initial landing point. Spanish troops invade another nation. We have the formation of inlands. Spanish, as it's referred to. Eastern colony is also part of Spain. Spain's just racking up all these colonies. So these guys, this is like their Brazil, and these guys are fighting for maintaining their independence. In Spanish Africa, Spain is going to continue to expand. However, this triggers the war, and Spain's going to go to war with all these guys. So Spain is going to quickly begin to make a move. Spain's going to establish a castle to guard their positions. Spain's main goal is to kick out the rebels over here. So they're going to take the time to their ships land, taking over all the forts, and the Brazilian government. The leader is captured. Spain is just going to finish these guys off. And what becomes known as the Treaty of Brasilia. And they completely conquer these guys. This time, Spain is going to just temporarily form Spanish Morocco. And this is going to be a colony over here. And we have Spanish forces are to take a holding stance for right now to get a new leader. And this guy, he's an expansionist. It's a new emperor. The former emperor's got killed. She got assassinated, and basically a bunch of natives, basically a bunch of anti-colonialists to basically took her out, and that's what happened. So we made a nation this time. Spain is going to establish Spanish. They're going to quickly invade the South African colony. And yeah, South Africa's forces get overrun extremely quickly. Spain's empire now spans 5, 6, 7. They have 8, 9 colonies. This is huge. They also control France. Well, technically, France still exists. So we have the West Africans beginning to attack Spain. And these guys' main goal is to kick out Spanish Morocco. They're going to be successful. They're going to take over Tangier. We have Libya starting to attack. Libya is going to quickly start to take over. We then have Mozambique beginning to attack the Spanish Africa. And let's go over what Spain does. So Spanish forces are going to quickly begin to respond to this. Really? Native troops are going to proceed to quickly retake Tangier as well as Morocco. then going to quickly slam Libya. Spain can't really only have Spanish colonial authority. These guys' main goal is to maintain and hold their colony. Although weakened, they are going to hold on. However, it's not going to hold on for long as Mozambique forces are going to begin. These guys will establish democracy. And Mozambique's forces are now going to proceed to wipe out Spanish Africa. It's the first of Spanish colonies to collapse. Actually, Spanish Morocco collapsed too, but this is what the new Mozambique looks like. Mozambique has regained all their land. Spain is going to quickly respond to this. Their forces are going to, their main goal is to cut off West Africa, which they are successful in, and slam Libya's fort. And then we have an unlikely move: Iceland, the Netherlands, Italy, Greece, and Anatolia all declare war on Spain as well. Meanwhile, the colony of Chesapeake, they're going to declare independence. These guys are officially going to become America. From the USA. And these guys are going to expand. They're going to rapidly start to push out Spanish out of this region. And Spain's going to have to deal with the war, and then they're going to retake the colony, hopefully. In the meantime, Spanish forces are then going to proceed to completely cut off West Africa. And we have them pummeling Libya. However, Italian forces as well as Dutch forces are going to establish a castle to guard the western frontiers. The Dutch begin to attack. They too will build a fort to protect their capital. We have Iceland. Iceland is just a new leader. And they are going to expand. They quickly retake Brittany. Spain sets up a defensive front in France. They're planning on just fleeing France and holding down the front in Africa. In the meantime, we have Spanish authorities down here. They're going to finish off Brasilia. They're going to start to counterattack against the US. Their other colonies will collectively join the war. And these guys' main goal is to help Spain. However, Colorado's going to declare independence. We have the California declaring independence. Mexico declares independence. All these South American colonies also declare independence. We'll see if Spain's able to retake them. Right now, Spain's main goal is to finish off Africa. And they're going to do that. They force Libya into a treaty, known as the Treaty of Tripoli. Spain gets Tunisia, and now Spain can conquer West Africa. They're going to quickly establish a front here. They're going to finish off West Africa. And Spain is going to successfully retake all this. And then Spain is going to meet with these guys, and they agree to abandon France in exchange for ending the war. Italy, the Dutch, and Iceland are like, this is a really good deal because France is independent here. So Spain is going to leave, France is going to withdraw. And we have Iceland. Now proceeding to Iceland are prepared to take over France and establish a French republic over here. They're going to expand, filling in an area. The Dutch and the Italians left because they realize that it's not worth fighting. We have perfect nation. We have the second French republic. The second French republic basically Italy establishes their own foothold in France. And it's because this region speaks Italian. As you can see. And with Italy's help, they're going to quickly expand, securing a foothold over this region. We then have France retaking their land. We then have the Dutch moving in. They establish a castle in their Nordic areas. And these guys are not colonies. These guys are a fully fledged part in Finland. Going to become independent. These guys give Finland independence. The Republic of Baltics. These guys are going to have a new color. Nice light blue. And these two are going to have a thing. Basically, the Netherlands are going to provide economic aid to Finland to get them, on their feet, because the Netherlands wants to have a small colonial region. They like having parts of Sweden and Norway, but they don't want to go full-fledged like Spain, because I think really that takes a lot of money. So, the main reason why Spain left France was because they weren't really making them much money, and because they realized they're better off holding their colonies down. Nation. And this time we will have this. So basically what happens is this region is going to break away, establishing Sri Lanka. Actually, instead what happens is these separatists are going to establish a New Mexico. The New Mexican rebels. And these guys want independence as well. Here's how I jumped into Yucatan. Really small army, but see how Spain responds to this. Spain has set up a defensive line against West Africa, and their new goal is restoring their colonies. These are going to extremely quickly retake Mexico. These guys are then going to proceed to rapidly obliterate the Yucatan, and Spain is going to basically say that if you did not join a rebellion, you're not going to be arrested, because Spain knows that in order to keep this rebellion to not be absurdly big, so these guys were offered amnesty. They're like, look, if you agree to become colonies, but we'll give you more autonomy, so as a compromise, Spain opts to make their colonies way more autonomous, so that way they can hold on to their resources without having to have a huge civil war. And all these South American colonies agree. California agrees. Colorado agrees. No one knows about Alaska right now. The U.S. is going to fight. Spain is going to establish a front line over here. They're going to spearhead into the Midwest. And the U.S. is going to counterattack. Going to have a split. This Midwestern area is going to break away from the Great Lake Republic. These guys they don't speak Spanish like the South. They don't speak the Canadian language. These guys speak a more French language, like Quebec, but they're not a fan of being part of Quebec. They don't want to be part of them. And so these guys are going to quickly establish themselves over here. Spain's going to recognize them because, well, it makes their life easier. It makes logical sense to recognize them. These are going to put a castle. They're going to establish it right here. This is highly valuable land you want to protect. Nice work. The Great Lake Republic is extremely successful. These guys expand all the way to here, firmly establishing themselves as the owners of the Great Lakes. In the meantime, the U.S. in a rock and a hard place. The region will break away from Spanish, so Spanish U.S. So where the Spanish area ends, roughly up to here. And basically, Spain meets with the U.S. and these guys discuss a treaty. This becomes known as the Treaty of Spania. And in a treaty, the U.S. is recognized as independent, but in exchange, they have to recognize the Spanish U.S., the Great Lake Republic, Canada owning New England, and Spain owning this land. That's the agreement they both make. So the U.S. is now independent. Spain has actually gained a lot because they have a new ally. It's not like the U.S. She has to establish a fort for capital. Fort Carolina. And so these guys are going to basically Spanish U.S. is a colony. Spanish U.S. These guys are not a colony. They're instead an ally, and the reason is because these guys willingly joined Spain. They did it willingly. So Spain has them in a higher status. So that's the reason why these guys are not a colony. They're an ally. These guys have full autonomy. They're just really friendly to Spain. The borders are adjusted. Only Spanish speakers get this land, and these guys are now gigantic. And so these three are going to form the anti-U.S. forces. As you can see, these guys form the anti-U.S. because these guys are not a fan of the U.S. will become a president. Yes, that is the first president. We have a new capital. It will be established right over here in Cape May. Name it Independence after their independence. We'll still be a new state in the Americas. So Spain's able to hold on to their colonies. They lost France, but Spain continued their war against West Africa. These guys are going to quickly be pushed out. And, well, put you simply, Spain is going to get a brand new emperor. Actually, let me look this up. Great, this is a man. Okay. So the Spanish will get a new emperor. We get the West Africans. And Spain is going to gain a new emperor. We have yet another emperor. Basically, the last guy, he got killed on the front lines. Spain is going to proceed to start to rapidly push into West Africa to take over his capital. And West Africa is going to try to counterattack. And what becomes known as the Treaty of Unitaria. Spain is going to establish this region as their new Spanish Africa. So Spain lost a colony over here in Mozambique, but they gained one over here. And Spain's going to expand their colony, and then they proceed to redeclare war on Libya, seizing this region. And now we have these national of Spanish Africa. And yeah, these guys all hate Spain even more. Mozambique did win now. So basically, for the winners of this war, Mozambique won, and the coalition won in France. Yes, won in Mozambique. Mozambique gave back all their land. Spain did win in West Africa. They also won in the U.S. because they arguably gained more because they lost this region, but they gained this and they have an ally here, which is very good for them. They also were able to hold down their colonies, and now their colonies are more stable. So it's a big win for Spain. This war. At the same time, though, the African countries did win too. We have France, who's going to expand even more. Later, this guy, he's more isolationist. The Dutch are going to proceed to expand into this. But they're actively going to proceed to erase all part of England. Then trying to proceed to expand the Nordic regions. As you get to a brand new leader. And you're going to build a castle in England. I think that'll finish off this region. And the goal is to take all Greenland, which they're doing. So we have our map. Let's go over our map. I think we'll end the video. Let's go over our map. So we have Alaska is our northernmost country, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they go north to Greenland. We have the Spanish colonies, which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. So 10 colonies. These 3 are technically part of Spain on the map. Also have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They have their 20th colony force. They have like 20 colonies on the map. There's like 10. These guys are Spanish who settled here. I never made these guys like independent things. Like I never made these guys on the map at least independent. So technically Spain controls these colonies. They control these guys. Spain is definitely large because they have like at least 40 pounds of land, I think. Egypt is at this point extremely weak, and we're going to finish off the Great War for Egypt. Because I actually should finish that before I forget. So we have these guys going to quickly start to slam into Egyptians. Mani forces are going to proceed to retake this, and they're going to proceed to fight the Southern Arabs. We have an independent Somalia. Second Somalian Republic is established. We have the end of this. We have the anti-Egyptian forces that now firmly establish themselves over here. They're going to retake these border regions from Mozambique. Mozambique is going to give them to them as a sign of peace. We then have Yemen, and Yemen is going to continue to march into the Southern Arabs. Eventually these two get a ceasefire. Egypt is now basically weakened, like they're absurdly weak. Egypt has a new president. There is a new president, and his main goal is to retake parts of Egypt. But so you didn't get next episode. So this is our map. Let's go over it. So in Asia, we have the war for Australia, which is going on between the Australians and the Indonesians. It's probably going to be basically kicked out of the continent. We saw Japan expand down here. We saw the formation of Burma. We saw the anti-expansionists doing very well in India. We have Persia expand to Iraq. We have a big Victoria Caspia who wants to attack Anatolia to regain that coast. And they have battle plans drawn up. We have expanded see it. This is their small land they had. It's basically just Monaco, so you know what? Monaco. Italian. This is basically like new, they made this out like a buffer state. And then in Spain, so Spain can't attack them as easily. Spain has gained all of this African land, plus this, all these colonies. We have the US being founded. We have France being restored. Iceland is, well, they're now larger. The Dutch have expanded their colonies. Italy, all the countries are now more powerful. More independent. To put you simply, Egypt is crippled. That's our map. It's weaker, but they still exist. Let's go over all the map. Just our terrain map, as you can see. I don't know how long you can forget to Russia, to be honest. We not expanded into Russia yet. We have our forts, which are insanely powerful. I buffed them a lot. As you can see, pretty much all of Africa, like several forts. Indonesia's fort. We have all these forts in North Africa and Europe. We have our ideology mode, which is dominated by several. We have Buddhism in the Great Lakes, the Spanish US, and this US. We have Conquistador in Spain. We have socialism in the Dutch, Icelandic in Iceland. We have imperialism in Italy. Democracy, which, as you can see, is really the same country. I think that's like a glitch. We have Pan-Turkic in the Anatolians. We have the Pharaohic Kingdom in the Hijaz, Prince Mali Emirate in the northern and southern Emirates. We have democracy in Yemen, all these new countries. We have Mozambique in democracy. We have federations in South Africa and the West Africans. They were the first to do it, West Africa. Democracy in Libya, as well as Egypt. We have Persian law in Persia. We have the ideology of Godfrey, the leader of, I think it was Maya, over here. We have Indonesian ideology over here. We have the democracy in Caspia. As you can see, the by far biggest ideology is technically democracy. Actually, the oldest one is, can't even tell, probably federationism. I think it was democracy. Let's see. Yeah, federationism is older. And the newest ideology, I'm pretty sure, is this, because Spain has like flipped ideology like 20 times, so you can keep getting around religion whenever I click on that, much to my annoyance. The next parliament was actually formed in France. This is not, France initially established it, and then Iceland obviously adopted it. Greece has no ideology. A couple countries do, but most countries have